Like it right there. Like that right there. The Wade and Carter program. It's paid advertising.
Already did. I took it already. It was live.
I get no love.
Biden puts his foot in his mouth, upsets at the NCAA men's tournament, none at the women's tournament. All that and more coming up on today's Wade and Carter show.
Not bad for complete winging it.
For an idiot.
You're not an idiot. I'm no slouch myself.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning to you, sir.
How are you today?
Very well, thank you.
Good. Let's do this.
Okay. The Wade and Carter weather brought to you by the great folks at Deerland Feed. And man, the forecast is mostly cloudy. It's 55 degrees.
This is garden planting week. If you haven't gotten in, now's the time.
Starting this afternoon, it's going to get really windy. And then tomorrow or tonight, late night, it's supposed to rain. 11 to 4 a.m., there's 30, 50, 40% chance of rain. That's hit or miss. Yeah. Like your place is so big, it might rain on parts of the 2-4, but it won't rain on all
the 2-4.
Yeah. No. So expect kind of a, windy, not, but it's 72 degrees. Not a bad day. For everything you need, there is Deerland Feed.
Absolutely.
Get by today for plants, seedlings, chickens, eat chicks.
They'll have ducks at some point.
I talked to a guy the other day. This is right up your alley. And he said he goes to Deerland Feed and he buys chicks. And he said sometimes they're $3-4 a piece, whatever they are. Takes them home. That got my interest right away because you're buying a chick for $3, let's say. Now I can take you to H-E-B and buy a organic, hand massaged chicken, dead as it can be, for about $6.
Yep.
So he's got this round pen, puts them in the pen, says they eat it to dirt.
Yep.
Then he throws some seed in there and they eat that to dirt. Then he'll move the pen. He said it's either 6 or 9 weeks. That's when you butcher them. They're full-grown birds. Said the flavor's amazing, blah, blah, blah. I asked him, what do you got in those birds when it's all done? He goes, probably $25 a piece. I'm like, that's like filet McNuggets, I'm like, I can go to Sam's and grab one that's already cooked for $5.99. I mean, how good? It's just chicken. It's not like it's Wagyu chicken.
Can't put a price on quality.
It's just chicken. It's like, that's the best cottage cheese I've ever had. $50.
Turns and whey.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. Good morning, Justin Glass.
Marvin Mickers checking in. Lorena Bargenbrook, good morning. Chris
Conrad. It was Bergebaugh. Saw her a lot this weekend.
Michelle Hawkins, Lisa Poole, H.R. Mallory, Scott Snow, Patrick Strauss, Brandon Patrick, and Lori over the weekend. Judge Posey, good morning.
Good morning, Judge.
Christina Wise, Karen Webb, good morning. Robin Moore Knipling, Richard King, Bobby Leister says we're holding steady at 732 YouTubers.
One Russian bot left us.
Stephen Kidder, good morning. Diane Tippett, Clint Ives checking in.
Commish.
Chris Ray Brissett, Missy Yearwood. Congrats to Missy and Scott. They got one daughter off the dole over the weekend.
Sweet.
Terry Murray's in. Scott Taylor, good morning. Natalie Mayer.
Hi, Scotty.
Good crowd checking in. Marty Stockbauer.
Hi, Martina.
You can tell spring break is over.
Yeah, people are up. They're getting ready to get back to work.
They are.
So a couple of quick hits for you. Well, I saw Lorena. Went out this weekend, watched TLAT, the casualty update for Dawn. Went out and watched the Industrial Little League had a fundraiser.
Yep.
So they had a cook-off, and we ate crawfish and all the appropriate libations. And they had a really intense Jay Wimberly had a team out there, the Farm Bureau gentleman, and he and Lorena's husband worked together. And Rob cooked and Jay played softball, and T-Lat she played a little second base. She pulled a butt muscle, which was kind of cute.
Tells you all you need to know.
Kind of gimpy,
Hang
a
it
little
up.
gimpy. Well, but she also managed to get her big toe on her left foot between a cleat and second base. And that dude is swollen up, and it's like she's got polish on it, of course, but all around the edge is like black. Like, we're done. It's the land of prosthetic toenail. Clint Ives hit a grand slam home run. It was fun to watch. The men had to bat offhanded. Then Friday night, went out to the rodeo, which was just fantastic. Hats off to Tyler. I thought it was great. Lorena says Dawn deserves a pedicure. Don't worry, that's on the schedule about once a week.
Once the toes stop throbbing.
Yeah. Sheriff Louderback, good morning.
There's a reason slow pitch has never made it as a spectator sport.
Yeah, because it's just people getting hurt and just old people trying to still do it. But she played well. I have to give her credit. She's a player. Friday night, went out to the rodeo. Was really the quick observations. I'll be curious about your Sunday experience. Very crowded, zero social distancing, no masks.
See, other than the no mask, social distancing, and wasn't that crowded yesterday afternoon.
Okay, we were.
It was a good crowd, but
we were shoulder to shoulder with
apart.
Neighbors and friends, and I was very flattered. Had a very brief conversation with, I just say artist, Jared Birmingham, and he said he listens to our show. He did not say to tell you hi. No, he actually, said, hey, you guys are doing a good thing.
I appreciate that.
Well, and he's, if you listen to he's a thinking guy. He's a smart guy. And he said he would come on the show sometime.
Cool.
That'd be awesome. And then yesterday,
in the studio, that'd be cool.
I don't know if he didn't say he would play for free or anything.
I'm just saying. If he's got a new album coming out.
Well, that's something. He might drop you off a disc. I'm not saying he's going to. I didn't promise you.
I'm not asking for the whole stage set up here.
Right.
He brings a guitar and plays an acoustic song.
Instead of the drums, just bring that guy with the box. He can play the box. Yeah. Okay, I'm with you on that.
No cowbell.
So I remember seeing him once in Cuero with Cody Canada. Great show. Acoustic deal. Anyway, I digress. Yesterday, after popping off repeatedly, Sheriff Louderback goes over to Yoakum to talk to the Republican women. And, I've kind of run with the bit that it's a bunch of old blue-haired ladies with their red hat on.
Yeah.
Well, yesterday at HEB, a slightly older maybe lady, but certainly not an old lady, walked up. She said, Mr. Carter. And I said, yes, ma'am. Would you like to tell me about the red hat ladies? And I said, no, ma'am, that's just live radio. We're just having fun. Uh-huh. She goes, I'm just razzing you. So we appreciate you listening, ma'am. And thanks to all of our friends in Yoakum. Yes. No, she was, Dawn said, I think she was just having fun with you. I said, well, she didn't have a weapon. But very nice of her to come up and speak.
Patrick Strauss says that was Lori.
Yeah.
There you go.
Was it?
Must have been.
Well,
Patrick wouldn't say that. See, she didn't say anything to me about that when I ran into her on the weekend.
Well, I know Laura. You know what? I'm going to have to talk to Laura. I think she's a little more platinum in her hair than I was used to. There you go.
I think it washed out. That was just for the wedding.
There you go.
Byron Burris, good morning.
Good morning, Byron.
Tammy Williams checking in. JL West, got Tom Price.
Very painful to that.
Amanda Smith King. I think I saw Sheriff Louderback in.
Oh, yeah. America's Sheriff.
He's going to be speaking, I think, towards the end of April at a
Tucker Carlson event.
Yeah.
I mean,
Andy Ria Jr. checking in.
What did Patrick say?
I don't know. He said that was Lori.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. Well, hello, Lori. See, she didn't get her. See, I noticed. She ain't no blue hair from Yoakum.
No, not at all.
Nice lady.
Pat, faithful listener.
Matt Boucher, the word of the day, diplodemia. It's not an affliction of the skin. It's a plant that I put in my front flower bed just yesterday. It's supposed to grow to a little bush about 2 foot by 2 foot tall and wide.
There you go. The Texas Sheriff's Regional Alliance. Thank you, Marcy Grantland, for letting me know exactly what that was.
Well, that's the old TSRA.
Yeah. Patrick Strauss says she did get her haircut.
There you go.
So
Tucker Carlson is opening
Yeah.
for the sheriff in April, says H.R. Mallory. Nice.
So over the weekend, video made its rounds. I shared a couple of fun little videos of Donald Trump swinging a golf club and the ball
Hitting Joe Biden. Joe's going to run up the stairs.
And I think it was Sean Hannity pointed this out, because remember when President Trump slipped going down that wet ramp?
Yes.
And or took it slowly. I don't even know that he slipped. I think he walked slowly down it because it was slick, right? And Joe Biden on the campaign trail made fun of him. I'd run up that ramp.
He's always trying to show how youthful he is
Yeah.
at 78.
Yeah. He can't even get up a flight of stairs to Air Force One without falling 3 times. Some were saying it was karma for not saluting any of the servicemen that were standing at attention and saluting him as he walked off the helicopter.
What is that with the Democrats? Why do they not salute our military
I don't know.
folks? Their disdain for the military bothers me.
And he decided not to salute them as he walked up. And the video shows nobody running to his aid as he struggles to get. It was boom, boom, boom. It wasn't like he walked, fell, got up, walked a few more
The
steps.
last one, he's got his hand on the rail and he's laid out on the.
And then he tries to brush off his knee, like,
Yeah,
I got this.
but he gave out.
But
I'd have to turn
think
back
a little
around
bit
and
of
wave
karma.
everybody. Yeah.
A little bit of karma for foot and mouth, but
I
don't know. But then
I heard a report.
the stair chair was added to Air Force One.
That's nice. Yeah, that you sit in and it takes you up the stairs. I heard one this morning. This guy just sounded so young. Had gone to an envoy, an ambassador, had gone to China, and he said, "We came in here clear-eyed, and we're leaving clear-eyed, and we have expressed to them our agenda and our worldview and the way that things are going to go, and now we're going to go back to Washington and get back to work." And I couldn't help but think to myself, it said it's unclear whether or not Biden is going to lift the strenuous restraints that have been put on China. And I thought it was interesting that the Democrats, who are so pro-human rights for everybody, everybody's equal. There's not even any genders anymore. Everybody's equal.
We're all the same.
Everybody needs a living wage. They just don't seem to impose that on the most polluting, most sexist. I mean, they're killing little baby girls over there because only boys matter. They pay their people horribly. They've got a horrible human rights.
It doesn't matter because, everybody in Congress and on the left has their iPhones.
And at the end of the day, once again, hypocrisy is the tell of the left. Why you would think that the Democrats, based on their agenda, would be chomping at the bit to sanction China, to encourage you to buy American, because they're so rude to their people. They're overbearing on people like Hong Kong. They pollute.
They put them in camps when they don't agree with
They
the communist
like
philosophy.
no other. But, we may ease up on those. Trump sure was hard on them, and they're not bad people.
They put up coal plants and dam rivers at a rate that hasn't been seen in this country for 60 or 70 years.
Yes.
And not a word is ever said about it.
Fonzie said, was it Fonseca that said Trump ripped
Yeah.
that road?
I thought it was more of a 3-wood.
Roy Gutierrez says the wind blew him over. Now, by the way, there is a theory that the wind did blow Biden down, and that the wind is a result of climate change wrought by Donald Trump. So there is something to be said for that.
So that's Trump's fault again,
There
right?
you go. Folks, real quick,
so
how
there
about
was that
this?
over the weekend.
Allen's Wrecker Service, 578-6300. Went by last week. Alan Miller.
Allen's was busy Saturday
Yes,
night.
they were. And Allen was underneath a huge truck. Thing had 3 axles on the ground in the back. It has another axle you could drop down. And he said there was a vibration in the rear end. And I said, that's kind of like Dawn after she pulled that butt muscle. But anyway, he's
Kind of like
under,
you after chili.
right. He's under there and just torquing wrenches, man. The guy's a genius. He's the Charlie Daniels of the torque wrench. Janet lives in his double wide.
Queen of his double wide.
578-6300, folks. That's Allen's Wrecker Service. Pete McNally, go easy on the Big 12.
We'll get to that in a minute, Pete, after this break.
The VCS companies, our banner sponsor, fantastic folks. Amazing service.
Under that umbrella is the only locally owned and authorized AT&T your communication devices and needs met.
Yes, sir. Reach out to them this week. They're right there at Kerr Boulevard, just inside the loop. Just Chesnick Furniture, 101 years downtown Victoria. Bobby Leon and his family will take care of yours because you just do better at Chesnick.
Absolutely.
Go by and there's new bedding. Nothing sleeps like a new bed. You ever notice how you go to a hotel and you're always like, I wish I had that mattress.
I didn't know bed slept.
Right. Well, I tell the jokes, Rocky. I tell the jokes. Yo, Mick, cut me. Anyway, reach out to Bobby Leon. They are fantastic folks, and they are so good to help sponsor this program.
Speaking of so good,
Veracruz.
back in today.
Wow. 2 days before Caldo Wednesday is a great day to get in and
they won't be lined up at the door for the Caldo today yet.
And check it out. Yeah, there's a guy right now. There's a guy here in town thinks I have a bromance for him or something. I broke one of my rules. I walked into the restroom at Veracruz, and there was a guy in there, and I spoke. I'm usually not the guy that speaks in the bathroom, and I'll talk to you anywhere, but it's a little odd. And he said, "Hey, it's my first time here. What should I get?" And I said, "We got to get the enchiladas. I said, that's how you judge a Mexican food restaurant, by its enchiladas." And it was him and his wife. And when Dawn and I left, because I had spoken to him in the bathroom, I told Ida that I wanted to buy their lunch. Well, I did it with Wade Carter money, so it's okay.
Yeah, that's
so
nice.
I bought their lunch, and somewhere there's a guy right now going, I think that guy was creeping on me. Yeah,
probably.
But it was his first trip to Veracruz, and I know it was enjoyable because the food is just outstanding.
He just told you it was the first trip there. He's a sucker written all over your forehead. Christina Wise asked if you made eye contact.
I did. There's only one urinal and there's one toilet, and it's a holdover from the Texas Sizzler of the what was it called? Sirloin Stockade days back in the day. Yeah.
Never got to the Sirloin Stockade.
Oh man. It was a different era because like now, if you had a restaurant that size, you'd have to have like 5 urinals and 4 toilets and a handicap, and you got to have it all. Half the restaurant would be bathrooms, and $150 a foot makes the price of food go through the roof.
Absolutely.
But today's a great day to call and book your Texas Coast limo. 575 limo. We have an idea. Dawn and I are coaching a little league team, and we're thinking about piling our team into a limo.
For the last game of the year?
To drive out. Yeah, that might be fun. 575 limo. Reach out to Bob Constantine. Super nice guy.
He'll hook you up with a party bus if you need it, a limo. They've got the wedding trolley, which would be great for taking the wedding parties.
Bob's the guy that'll say, I know what you think you want to do, but you really can't afford to do that. You can't afford my limo tonight. But in general, you can afford it. He wants to help you make your event eventful.
Speaking of bathrooms at the Goliad Rodeo, they still got the troughs, right?
Yeah.
It's old school. And I'm sitting there, when they put these in, those were big enough for 3 guys, shoulder to shoulder.
Sure.
Because our waistlines in this country weren't, we don't need 24-inch. We didn't need 24-inch stadium seats.
Right. Now it's you on one end and one guy on the other end.
Yeah.
And you don't make eye contact.
No, not at all.
Never make eye
contact. In fact,
contact.
I'm there. One guy comes in and does this to me. He goes all the way to the other end and he turns a 45 degree.
45?
Yeah.
That's
Dude,
it's a man with envy.
I ain't creeping.
Lorena Bargenbrook asks, does Texas Limo do wine tours now? I believe they do. I think they've got a.
They'll do anything you want.
You know, if you lay out honestly, if you lay out a route that you want to have him run, he'll do that for you. There's some fine wineries around here as well.
But if you missed the Goliad Rodeo, you're going to be kicking yourself till next year, because they had former top 10 World Finals Cowboy from 2 years ago placed second in the Saddle Bronc, I think, or Bareback, one of the two.
Did Lane McGee do any good in the Bareback?
I didn't see him ride. I think he was Saturday night. So
he got busted up pretty good Friday night.
Okay.
Then
I think that was the only time.
That's the only time he rode?
Yeah.
Okay.
I saw his name on there. I just didn't know when he rode. I had the current number 5 in the national or in the world standings in both the Bareback. He rode Bareback and Saddle Bronc. But man, some really good Cowboys, strong Canadian contingent, a couple Canadians in the money over the weekend. So it was a good little rodeo. Always enjoy it. And yesterday's weather was perfect.
The team roping, those guys, the team ropers are always so well dressed because they don't ever get off.
They don't have to get off.
They ride. Thomas Brayman had a team out there, and they missed their calf, and he was still rich when it was over. It was okay. He was like, yeah. As he rolled up his golden rope, he was like, it's okay.
The golden lasso.
I'm still going to get on my chopper and airlift my horse out of here.
Wonder Woman magic lasso.
The magic lasso. I'll tell you this, they may not win, but that calf will never lie because he's got it under the golden lasso.
Go. Oh, man. How's your bracket looking after this weekend?
You know, I sadly, my apathy, I just didn't even fill out a bracket.
Really?
But I can tell you that my mental bracket did not have Texas losing to Abilene Christian.
No,
and it didn't have Ohio State losing to Oral Roberts.
Neither did mine.
Baylor is the only team left in the Big 12. Everybody else is out.
Florida lost to Oral Roberts late yesterday as well. Oral Roberts down into the Sweet 16.
That's like the story of the year.
Yeah, that's a number 15 getting the Sweet 16. North Texas beat Purdue first round. Yes. Oregon State wins yesterday.
That's a huge win for North Texas. They beat a Big Ten school in basketball.
13-4.
It's amazing.
Abilene Christian beat Texas, number 3.
Texas we talked about it. They were going to be one and done, or they would lose in the second round anyway.
Yeah, you didn't pick them losing to Abilene Christian, though.
No,
you said that there's no way they can lose to Abilene
I'm
Christian.
fairly certain the athletic director didn't pick them losing to Abilene Christian either.
And Ohio bounced Virginia.
Somebody else got beat.
Illinois, number 1, fell to Loyola Chicago. You know, that one, you could see that coming if those two teams got to the second round, which they obviously did.
Directional Loyola.
But there's some bragging rights on the line for the greater Chicago area in that one.
Right.
And it didn't really surprise me.
Two teams probably familiar with each other just from watching. You know, they're close. They're close to each other.
Second time in 4 years, Loyola's advanced to the Sweet 16. So, I mean, it's not like it's, unprecedented for them. They've got a pretty good little program going.
Who did Baylor beat? 16, but who was it?
I don't remember now.
But no problems. Baylor rolled.
Syracuse beat West Virginia. West Virginia was number 3. Syracuse was a 12 or 11. And then number 12, Oregon State, after their Friday win over Tennessee, they beat Oklahoma, number 4.
So Oklahoma, Texas Tech, and Oklahoma State all out.
Done.
Yeah. And so how about this?
And the women's tournament, no upsets.
Yeah.
None.
All the favorites won.
Yeah.
So how about this? Is it fair? In the SEC, what they always say is, well, we spend all season, when they have a bad bowl season, which they seem to have fairly often. Well, we spend all season beating each other up. So by the time it's over, we're really tired, we're all worn out. I said that to one of my buddies. And I said, well, that's what it is. The Big 12 was so tough this year in basketball that every program was worn out and they just couldn't compete anymore. And he said back, yeah, that and the other SEC excuse, we didn't really want to be there. We just didn't really want to be there. I'm like, dude, if you don't want to be in the NCAA tournament,
Abilene Christian and UCLA today.
Now, who is Sister Jean? Sister Jean.
She's at Loyola.
Okay. Is she
Yeah.
the old
Yeah,
old
like
lady?
101 years old or something like that. Yeah. So trying to see where my bracket is. Let's just for giggles and laughs and guffaws.
While you do that, let me tell you of the offices of Steve Kidder. The law offices of Steve Kidder stand to help you with any type of civil or criminal matter, whether you want to try to stay out of jail or you want to dissolve a relationship, whether it be a marriage or a business relationship. If you need help with wills, trusts, setting up some type of arrangement for your children, the legalities of a will, all of those kinds of things are much more simple
Maybe a family trust.
when you employ a lawyer, an attorney,
Someone who knows what
someone
they're
who knows
doing.
what they're doing. Reach out to the law offices of Steve Kidder. Dana Moore de la Garza can help you make pre-arrangements.
652-9157 is the number to call.
It's perfect. Get it all lined out. Get your funeral lined out. All the way down to the music you want played. I mean, Ash wants Mustang Sally played at his.
No.
He wants the Wilson Pickett version. I will do that for you.
Dwight Yoakam's Suspicious Minds.
Yes, that's also a little twangy, a little chanky chank. We can do that. 652-9157. Cheryl's going to decorate it. Dana Moore's going to take care of the arrangements. Vera Cruz is going to cater it. We'll have Texas Limo take Ash out and dump him in Garcitas Creek. Motto Mortgage, reach out to Terry Murray. Interest rates are low.
No.
She has lots of people competing for your mortgage business. And that pretty much sums it up. Between Jason's Deli and Dragon Palace, right there in that nice strip center at the corner of Magruder, Sam Houston, and Navarro.
Yeah, Oregon State beat Oklahoma State. My bad on that one. They didn't beat Oklahoma. Oklahoma plays, I think, Gonzaga today.
So Oregon is the Ducks. Oregon State
the Beavers.
The Beavers.
Yeah. Oregon wins their first round matchup because Virginia Commonwealth had COVID issues, so they didn't even play their first game.
Is it possible that Oral could play the Beavers?
No, I think they got to get the Final Four for that.
I don't know who you go for on that one. Went Services.
The Beavers are they're like Oregon's Washington State.
You reach out to Went Services, whether you need a generator, and you do need a generator if you don't have one, get on the list now. But routine plumbing, routine electrical work, whatever you need done, they have the services. The key word there is services. Went Services.
Plumbers now.
The solar panels, electric panels, the vultures are circling around here.
Big birds.
That's how good the show is. USA Concrete Coatings come out. They'll do a pool deck, porch, patio, garage floor especially.
They'll transform your old drab slab.
I like that. They'll seal the cracks and put down a tough polyurethane coating.
It's 4 times stronger than epoxy. Won't chip, won't crack, won't peel, won't fade.
Won't stick to your tires.
UV resistant.
It's almost like we've said it before.
Almost.
The Gray Barn had a wonderful wedding this weekend. You were there.
I was.
Do you think that people anticipate when they work with Cheryl, which, by the way, is 920-6803, 920-6803. Cheryl can help you plan or help you decorate your next event. You give her the theme and she'll decorate it. Do they figure in that her road crew is going to lean up against the keg for the entire wedding? I mean, what did you have there, about 30 cups?
No, not quite.
Okay, I just wonder if they
I stopped
figure that-
count at 30. So
do they figure that in? I mean, I don't know how they do that. Do they know that you're going to be there? It's like, are you bringing him? Well, then I'm taking 500 off the gig, you know?
She puts it on there. That's
Right.
That's on the rider. Free
Road-
beer for my husband.
Road crew drinks. There you go.
So we were there. Then we had Graydon, and of course he got tired. Probably about 2 hours into the reception. So we took him home because his Auntie Boo Boo watched him after that. Then we went back.
Boo-boo.
That's Ashton.
That's not Russian though.
No, not at
Okay.
all.
Dada.
But on the way home, we see the police.
How
Had a
many
truck
beers
full
did
of
he
them.
have? Great.
Graydon, none. He just ate all the M&Ms.
Yeah, he's not quite 3.
No, but he was hopped up on sugar. And then, of course, didn't sleep at all through the night. Was up at like 6 o'clock, right? Of course, it's just the way these things go. And wouldn't stop talking the whole way home. But so we're driving home about 8 o'clock or so, and we see Victoria's Finest as a truck pulled over. Allen's Wrecker Service pulling up.
Nice.
Take that truck away. Then we're coming back, and we see Victoria's Finest as another pickup stop, and Allen's Wrecker Service was
They're
on the scene.
profiling trucks.
They were busy. My Final Four still intact for my bracket.
Tell me about though on the girls' side. We
Yeah.
want to get to that. Tell me about. So you didn't have Illinois going to the Final Four. You had Michigan.
No, I got Gonzaga, Alabama, Baylor, and Houston in the Final Four, and I got Gonzaga beating Houston to win it all.
No, Houston's out, aren't they?
No, they're still in it.
I did not know that.
I think they play today.
On the girls' side, does Texas have a team in that?
I got to find my girls' bracket here.
See if they.
Let me get to that.
So just because we were just trying to warm up and we were visiting with Bill Posey earlier, I did mention. I don't know why.
First time since 2010, the better seeded teams went 16-0 in the first round of the women's tournament. So it's been a few years since some upsets.
So can you see if the Horns?
Yeah, I'm
looking.
I'm looking.
I don't know why it just kind of rubbed me wrong. I mean, if you do something wrong, you ought to pay a price. I get that. It just rubbed me wrong over the weekend to see. I already got it from Andy Reid Jr.
Number 6 plays Bradley tonight. A&M plays today too against number 15 Troy.
Hey,
A&M's the 2 seed.
Good luck to Texas and the Aggies today. I hope that all the Texas schools represent well.
Because they didn't on the guys' side.
It did bother me that on Saturday morning, at the top of page 1 was an article. It was nothing more than like a press release that a Victoria County Sheriff's Office deputy jailer, like a 26, 28-year-old individual, was pulled over for suspicion of DWI. Now, should a cop know better? Yes. I would go so far as to say, and you may throw rocks at me, that doing wrong is doing wrong, but I'm not convinced that a cop should maybe drive a cop home. But with that being said, I'm not sure if you're pro law enforcement as a community that needs to be at the top of page 1. Not saying it's not news.
Slow news day.
Yeah, it would have been nice. And if I'm wrong, tell me, Ash. I mean, I'm being sincere here. You could say, well, it's news. We hold those guys to a higher standard, and he should know better.
Check.
And he should have gotten a ride.
Check.
And, and by the way, he's been trained. He should know if he's had too much to drink.
Check.
It's just almost a bless his heart deal. I mean that. It's almost, it's kind of like I'd have a hard time arresting a ER doctor. I'm not being facetious. I'm like, help that guy get home, man. Now, you don't want to create a habit. If you don't discipline him now, maybe next time he kills a family. I get all that.
Yeah, but you help a guy get home, and then that comes out.
There you go.
And you end up in more trouble. Well, the police not holding themselves to the same standards as everybody else, right?
No, I agree. I'm torn with it. And nobody's saying anything on our comments. I find that interesting. I don't know. I felt bad. I did not feel like it was page 1 worthy stuff, but it reminded me of a day when the Advocate looked for every little nitpicky issue to malign any type of authority. If it is in any way a government office, then the Advocate sought to malign it. And I think they've gotten a lot better. I think George does a good job.
Trey Molina, good morning to you. Judge Posey says they used to only report DWIs where there were accidents.
Right. And I think that would be even better.
Well, it's probably I'll be honest, probably a slow news day.
Yeah.
And I don't know, but I'll be honest. I think if you're living in a bigger city, that's not even
in the paper. Honestly. Can you imagine how many DWIs Houston cops get every weekend? It's not a bad point. When I first lived in Houston coming out of college, every officer was on steroids, and they were huge.
If somebody in the in a bigger city, if that jailer would have plowed through 3 cars and killed some folks, now it makes news.
Right.
But simply being pulled over, it's not even making the front page. Probably not even making page 9 of the
Right.
Caller Times. Katina Arterberry, good morning.
There you go. Hey,
So-
hi, Katina.
So today's another slack off work day for a lot of folks because you've got men's and women's
All
basketball
day.
all day.
All day long.
So, Clayton Meyer says agreed, not front page news.
Well, I just wondered if everybody else, and there's
And I
certainly,
think the degree of what he does, jailer. If it would have been a patrol deputy,
right.
then maybe, yeah, right? A guy who's tasked with stopping and pulling over drunk drivers,
Right.
then that's probably.
And he's a young man, very young. And if he did do this, then hey, I hope he gets the help he needs, and I hope that this is an eye-opening deal. That sounds so. I'm sorry, that's condescending. I hope he gets the help he needs. He may not need any help. He may just need some common sense and just not do that. So,
Expensive lesson learned.
Marie Day points out a very respectable point. She says, "This heifer, don't be so hard on yourself. This heifer agrees that the execution of the law should be consistent regardless of role in the community." I agree, but Marie Day, what I'm saying to you then, the reporting of the news should be consistent throughout, and you don't see even, I guess maybe there's a little blurb somewhere in the paper that says there were 4 DWI arrests and blah, blah, blah. I agree with you, but if you go get a DWI after watching Baylor's women play today, they're not going to put it on the top of page 1. There's the other side of it. So I
no,
do
but
agree
she's
with
probably
you.
not. I don't know what Marie Day does, but she's probably not in a role that society holds to a higher standard.
And there's where I've got no problem arresting him. I'm just not sure that it ought to be at the top of page 1. So to a degree, she helped me make my seat. I agree regarding the actions of the newspaper. See, Marie and I, we got it. Trying to get you on board.
I'm on board.
Okay. There you go. You're a handsome devil. You got that beard working a little bit, kind of a little gray in there.
A little bit of gray in there.
Kind of gives you a little, it's like an alias, Yuri. We've got Yuli playing first base for the Astros, and I've got Yuri for a partner over
There
here.
you go. Clayton Meyer says it'd be in the blotter section buried in the paper sometimes with a name, but usually just age and sex.
Clay Tunn coming in with, when I got mine, I was on the back of page 7.
Mom, cut it up, put it in the scrapbook.
So real quick,
Johnny Houghton, good morning. I think Craig Simpson's checking in. A couple of buddies from high school.
Johnny Houghton's a double-aught spy. You better be careful. I did some reading on Johnny Houghton. You better.
Johnny Houghton
The
was,
fact that
Johnny Houghton
friends at
seen
all.
some things in Afghanistan that if he told us about him, he'd probably have to kill us.
Well, I'm saying the fact that y'all are good buddies and everything just echoes all the suspicions I've had about. I've started watching a new show. I try to give y'all things to. Hey, Greg Garcia, try to give you things to watch. Netflix has a series called The Blacklist, and
That's an old NBC series.
Is it?
Yeah.
James Spader. Very good. I like
I
him.
watched about the first year of it, and then I don't know why. I just kind of lost my interest.
I like him a lot. But he goes back. He's old. But you can tell that guy is a smart guy.
Was he 16 Candles? Was that him? Blonde-haired guy?
I can't tell you that. I can tell you that he was on Ally McBeal back in the 90s.
With Shatner.
Right. Denny Crane. Remember how great that was? I've tried that, and on insurance deals, they'll say, well, what are you going to bring to Craig Carter? I'm like, who's he? Get out.
Get out of here.
Please leave my office. Tell you where they won't tell you to leave their office, the Atzenhofer dealership, Atzenhofer.com, Atzenhofer Chevrolet, Cadillac, Mazda, Mitsubishi. Since 1926, Tommy Taylor and Spring were at the rodeo Friday night, and their name is on everything. Did you see the Atzenhofer sticker on the urinal? It's everywhere.
They had like three of the bucking shoots were Atzenhofer shoots.
Yeah, they
saw Daryl Smith there yesterday.
Look at that. Greg Garcia brings value right away and says that James Spader was on 16 Candles. But Atzenhofer is just such a great proponent of all things fine in our community. And we're very, very proud that in addition to that, they help sponsor this show. White Trash Services, 550-1826. you just can't go wrong. They want you to have a trash-tastic day. If you live in the 7-county region around here, including Holiday Beach and Rockport,
They can provide all your trash collection needs, from weekly residential collection to a larger dumpster. If you have more trash, to roll-offs. If you've got a big spring cleaning project, if you've got a remodel, they can provide the receptacle for your waste.
yes, BJ Nelson of White Trash Services points out he was in the greatest of all time movie, Wall Street. James Spader.
There you go.
The other guy that we don't like anymore, who's the guy that was in The Usual Suspects? We don't like him anymore. Kevin
Spacey. Yeah.
Kevin Spacey. We don't like him anymore because he's not a good guy.
Yeah.
But he, you could tell, also was a very cerebral, thinking man's actor.
Psychopath.
Other than that, the line is so blurry. Who are we to judge? Razor IT Solutions, JP Hull and his team will help you understand your analytics, help you capitalize, monetize, financially benefit from your web page, your Facebook page.
And they can keep you from financial ruin by being hacked or held for ransom.
Encryption. They can help you protect your data. Do reach out to them. Fantastic folks. JP Hull will shoot you straight, and it's cringeworthy what he can show you about your website. He had a local client here, did not give me the name, just a little small business. Like, it was no big deal. And their data had been breached 100 times. They couldn't understand why their webpage was so slow. Because every time you clicked on a button, it was going to 100 different places. Russia, China, Indonesia, India. They were all getting the data. And then Complete 360. Look,
and the health bar by Complete 360.
Monday's a great time. Go in here, right here on Red River, right next to Woodlawn. Get you a panini or a gluten-free, basically flour-free waffle. You can have, they do all kinds of protein smoothies. They do all kinds of, I call them gut checks. They have like it's a shot of, like,
good
grass.
bacteria.
Yeah, it's just stuff it's grass. Like you see a dog eat grass.
Probiotics, that's word of it.
There you go. What was the first thing you said? Good bacteria.
Good bacteria.
You said probiotics. Okay.
It's not that H. pylori stuff that causes ulcers.
Right. There you go. But Complete 360, whether you need supplements, whether you're looking for a good quality, low carb whey protein product, they've got it all. And Brandon Webb is a super nice guy and a load of information.
We talk about Modern Mortgage yet?
We did.
We did? Okay.
Terry Murray.
I was just making sure.
Friend of the show.
So Facebook looking at expanding its offerings and starting up a social network site for kids 13 and younger.
What could go wrong?
That's the question to ask. Is this a good thing?
Do you want a 13-year-old talking to your 6-year-old? I mean, I try to keep my two boys apart at home. You don't know what they're going to talk about.
Yeah. No, well, tells you where we are in the life cycle of Facebook as a product. Monetizing it is probably at a point where revenues are maybe flat.
What's the guy worth, though, honestly? Like $100 billion? Just ridiculous. If I remember worth $100 billion, I'm selling it.
But didn't he cut a deal to? Didn't he have to start paying the news producers or news companies in Australia for the content that's been shared on there?
They said they weren't going to take it.
Yeah. So, but I wonder. Will parents just think, well, it's Facebook, what harm can be done? And their kids will go willy-nilly on.
That's what they're counting on. I agree with you.
Because right now you can't be 13, although kids lie and they're, I've had a cousin that was, said he was 21 when he was 8 and he's on Facebook.
Oh, to have you is that right? You have to be
13
to get I didn't know that. I'm sorry.
And Johnny Hahn says it's the same thing now. How are they going to verify the user's 13 and under?
Right.
My guess is parents are going to have to put in a credit card and their social security or social insurance number based on where they are.
They're finding a way just to open it up to everybody.
Yeah. So I don't know. That one will be interesting. But we'll see how that plays out. But let's be honest. I mean, these kids are already probably on the internet already with Twitch and whatever streaming game service they're using to stream their land or Minecraft exploits anyway. Because they're playing each other in Madden and FIFA and all sorts of stuff. Steve Kidder says they need to get on Facebook young, so they'll be properly educated when they vote at 16. Yeah, didn't I see Nancy Pelosi with a quote over the weekend saying that we got to have voters? 16 needs to be the age to vote.
Nancy Pelosi. I mean, how about 80 needs to be the age to retire?
Yeah.
Let's get that brought out of Congress.
I agree completely.
Goodness gracious.
New study shows the coronavirus is probably circulating in China 2 months before first discovered in December. No surprise here because I think we talked about this in the summer. Satellite technology had shown unusually high levels of activity
Yes.
at hospitals in the Wuhan province in September and October. So that would line up with the timeline, and now the study's showing that.
I will admit that you and I, honestly, pretty much nailed. Ash pretty much nailed the timeline on this China virus over and over.
You can't call it that. You can only call the variants from the country of origin, like the UK variant, the South African variant, the Brazilian variant. Now the new variant is the US variant. But you can't call the virus the China virus because that's the country it originated from. You can only identify the variants by the country they originated from. Are you confused yet?
I'm with you. Jeff Fonseca says he needs a complete 360 smoothie to wash down the Patty Mountain fries he destroyed after playing golf.
The only thing I saw getting destroyed on Fonzie's round of golf was the tree that he lodged a ball into.
He said he's back in regular form. He also let me know that he was bolstered by the fact that Jim Hartman reached out to him and wished him luck in his round.
Good.
Nice, super nice gentleman.
But why is that? Why can we refer to the variants from the country of origin, but Joe Biden executive orders forbidding you to refer to it as the China virus?
He's in bed with China. If you're ever going to, folks, let's just address the reality. Lorena Barshenbrook says, China virus, China virus, China virus. Neener. I'm going to tell you that if you're going to
South African variant,
run the risk of being deemed racist, the least likely place to do it, I've said this for years on this program, you can always make fun of the Asians.
Not anymore.
Nobody cares
not
about
anymore.
the Asians. You can say whatever you want. Flight lies. We're going to have flight lies.
Not anymore. Not in the wake of the shooting in Atlanta. Because now all of a sudden, with no data to back it up,
they're being targeted. Yeah.
But interestingly enough, they're targeted by the left.
Right.
I mean,
correct.
There were lawsuits against Ivy League schools because of the blatant discrimination against Asians getting into those schools to keep them from getting in.
SAT scores way too high. Don't let them in. Way too high.
Again, it might be another case of the left deflecting where they don't want people to look to see the things that they've done to certain people. So they've got to make it seem like everybody else is doing.
Well, speaking of our favorite hypocrite, tell me what's going on with your buddy, Andrew Cuomo.
Oh, another more allegations over the weekend. This time from actually somebody who's still working in his administration and decided not to remain nameless.
Really?
Came forward, said lots of inappropriate comments, blatantly staring down her blouse, leering at her.
Leering.
So,
yeah, so many of those things are so subjective, though. I mean, I'm not defending Andrew Cuomo because but it's like, really? I mean, I guess if you're the boss and you're standing over her and you're looking down her blouse.
Well, when you're having a discussion with him and this is all he's doing, I could imagine.
Right.
Pretty blatantly obvious, right?
He's got his own nipple rings. You never know what he's trying to accomplish.
Yeah, that's true.
Andrew Cuomo.
And then what? A dozen now for Deshaun Watson?
There's now a dozen.
I think so. Yeah.
Well, it's a big city. I mean, there's 4 million people.
Well,
That's not bad.
Apparently went to Instagram when his regular masseuse was no longer available due to COVID or something.
His regular masseuse must be providing lots of services. Greg Garcia says liberals are always on the lookout for an opportunity to push the victimhood mentality. And here's the deal. You're going to see probably more and more fake outrage on behalf of Asians and Asian Americans.
Well, remember when the left was trying to tell you that the police are racist in what they do. Just leave it at that.
Right.
Yeah, and I think it was the DOJ whose latest statistics show that there was absolutely no profiling by law enforcement in this country. They're not arresting any one group more than the crimes being committed. And that narrative just sort of disappeared.
Exactly.
Christina Wise says, my eyes are up here. It wasn't on her T-shirt. I think Deshaun Watson's supposed to address the allegations. This isn't today, I think, isn't he?
I mean, what's he going to say? At least I didn't take a knee. What's he going to say? I mean, if there's 12, you get to the point where you got to be careful that it's not a Me Too movement where everybody just wants to get a piece of his wallet. I mean, you think about it. If he settles for 1.2 million, that's still $100,000 a person. They'd like that. They like that. They get 10 million. It's 800. It's a lot. 800 grand a throw. They'd like that money. If you're a masseuse.
Well, they won't get that because the
lawyer get the other.
They won't get the other.
Lawyers is Steve Kidder. We get 35% of that. Steve Kidder's in Houston right now, probably interviewing masseuses. You do it on your back? You do that face down? I don't know. Hey, how would you like to? You ever met Deshaun Watson?
Yeah. But that, I mean, where there's smoke, there's fire.
Yeah, there's got a lot of smoke.
Makes you.
Craig Sims says a lot of massages, no happy endings.
No, certainly not for Deshaun now.
Too many happy endings lead to a bad beginning for that kid. I don't know what he's only 26 years old. It's crazy because feels like he's been in Houston forever. Took over for Warren Moon when Moon retired. Right?
Stayed behind when the team left for Tennessee.
Right, just stayed. And they built a franchise around him.
Christina Wise, he said that's going to be a he said, she said. There's not, be interesting to see the evidence.
Well, unless somebody was wearing a blue dress.
Or a body cam.
The Monica Lewinsky dress.
You think there's cameras in those massage parlors? I don't know. I mean, you would think there might be to protect everybody involved because you're never naked. You're always covered up, right?
Are you? I don't know. I've
only been to one massage, and
I had the couples deal with Dawn a couple of times.
I had a towel, but kept your underwear on.
She made me get rubbed by a guy named Bruno.
I'll leave the punchlines in my head today. I'll leave the punchlines in my head today.
Got a back rub and a prostate check. I don't know what was up.
But wouldn't surveillance cameras, if there's no improprieties going on, if you're supposed to be covered up over certain areas, wouldn't that be the way to protect everybody involved?
I don't know. I think you're being awfully naive for a Russian.
No, I've only been to 2 massages, like I said.
There you go. Watson or Noah Campbell for a deadly combo. Fonseca.
Cotton says he was probably hiring the ones that come to your house. I don't know that he was, though. I don't know.
While you're laying there face down with a towel over your head, she's stealing your Rolex.
Yeah.
Rolex is. Goodness gracious.
Your Courier and Ives.
Courier and Ives, right? Got all of your Audubon Society photos and paintings. Folks, it's top of the hour.
Speaking of which, did you see that story, I think, out of Connecticut last week?
Bonus.
Somebody went to like a garage sale, yard sale, bought a $35 bowl, took it to have it appraised. It turns out to be like some 5th century ancient Chinese porcelain bowl that there's only like 5 others from a time period in existence.
Wow.
Sold it for 800 grand at auction.
They all came from Big Lots. It's top of the hour in Texas.
People were saying that that person then owed the person who had the yard sale some money because of the
no, you don't know.
You sold it for
anything.
$35.
Yeah,
I'm thinking at a yard sale, if that's just a piece of junk, that's overpriced to begin with.
yeah. The person didn't buy it with any foreknowledge. It had any great value. You just thought, hey, this is really old.
Pretty cool, and maybe there's some value. I don't know. I'd be looking and going, maybe there's some value here.
I would see that is such a.
But that's one of those things. I mean, it's like throwing $35 in a slot machine, right?
That's
me-
like saying. That's like saying that 15 years ago you went and bought 100 acres in DeWitt County because you wanted to dove hunt on it, and all of a sudden the Eagleford Shale happens, and well, you owe the guy that used to own that land some money.
Yeah, no, that's exactly it.
I
But
don't owe
people
him
were
anything.
people were trying to pressure the person who bought this thing to they owe that other person at least some money.
I don't owe him nothing.
Why? For their stupidity to not get it checked out?
Right.
You sold it.
But that's the society we live in now.
Everybody's a victim, right? That kind of sense doesn't that sum it up?
Yeah, Christina.
That guy's
License,
now a
their
victim
junk
of his
was
own
sold.
stupidity for not
Absolutely.
checking out the value of it before he sold it, or she.
In other news, I'll be going to every garage sale in Victoria this weekend looking for old treasures. I used to go and look for, there were certain like ping putters that were made in Scottsdale, things like that you want to find.
Yeah. Still ain't gonna help
They're
you putt any better.
No, they're all gobbled up.
Speaking of
again,
gobbled up, we
Top
gobbled
of
up
the
an hour.
hour. It's already Tuesday morning in Newfoundland. So we've got to get down the